Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to some of you, and peace out to the rest of you. Hit the share button because the message is more important than the messenger. Um, Let me start with the shouts out and the thanks. I would like to thank S. Jock and Senor Kanga for the links they send to news and updates. Um, and I want to thank, uh, especially to thank, especially to thank Tony Jones for reminding me of a particular website that I forgot about and pointed me to some others that explain a phenomena I mentioned before in a previous upload. And there are many different theories about this particular phenomenon, but I'm not going to verbally speculate about what they are or not. I'm going to deal with what we know. In the woods, in the woods in the Americas, but we certainly hear about it in North America. There's species that can't be identified, but they are dangerous. And um, I don't want I don't want our people to start trusting dim folks who like to go camping and hunting and fishing in the woods because if they know an area is dangerous and there's a predator, whether it's a mundane predator that you can read about in a biology book or it's something that's not yet been identified, but they see it and they know it's there. The result is the same. If they know an area is dangerous and they have some sort of aggression against Black people and you don't know it, they will invite you to go hunting or camping with them, and then they'll start an argument and then they'll chase you into that region. They'll do that. And even if you just go to a cabin with them and you're not camping just out in the woods in tents, but you go to a cabin with them and y'all are in the cabin, but you're surrounded by dim folks. Know this: if you're surrounded by enough of them, somebody's going to have a problem with you just because you're not them. And even if they don't all gang up on you, they're not likely to throw under the bus the one that did, because that's considered a betrayal of their own people. And even those who don't hate you and wouldn't do anything to harm you, you see, somebody not willing to harm you is different from someone that's willing to betray their own for harming you because their own are wrong. That's not very common amongst them. They don't generally do that and go that far. Keep that in mind. Now that we got that out the way, darknesses, the reason I opened this up to record was about my last upload before this one, and that's the lady that said uh, that she sued successfully and collected child support from the biological father of her child conceived through a fertility bank. She apparently has recorded two versions of the same story. In one version, she sued and lost, and in the other version, she sued and won. Either way, she's lying. And if someone tells the same story with two different versions, you then have to look at what is consistent to see what's likely to be true. What's likely in both versions, she manages to get the name and the contact information of the biological father in order to befriend him and meet up with him, and then sues him. Now, this is in both versions. It's just that in one she wins and the other one she loses. Understand that if that's what's consistent, we still have to take that as a confession. So there's nothing in this that we can use to her favor as a positive. Look what she has said herself. This is zucked fuck, my people. This is not something we can laugh off. She is sitting up and she is saying, look, this is what I did. I sued, I sued and I lost. I sued and I won. But either way, I got his name and information, which I'm not supposed to be able to access, so that I could sue him. Because I'm not going to raise the baby by myself and be a strong and independent woman if my girlfriend leaves me. But I'm not going to go under the man and submit either. She didn't ask the man to join the family, make them a family. None of that. No. What does this tell you? This tells you something else. This tells you that all narratives are supposed to be against you, and you ain't got no rights. So even if, and one, understand what this is a push for suing biological fathers through these clinics. Now, they donate their DNA for money. This would defeat the purpose. You know what? They're not thinking that far ahead. What they want to be able to do is to have the babies they want at the expense of the men whom they want paying, without the authority of the men. This is what the goal is. And what I'm saying to you is that if you are a young man, they're going to come to you because you will have the highest testosterone levels and the byproducts of that. And it means that you will likely regret if you do exercise ding-a-ling discipline and you're consistently turning them down. You will regret that later, because that's what high testosterone levels will do. You'll later look back and say, man, I should have took that. And what I'm going to tell you is you're going to have to see every opportunity as a trap. It's sad, it's unfortunate, but that's the environment they created. So you're not wrong for viewing it that way. You're not stupid, and you're not paranoid, and you're not weak. You're smart. These opportunities, so to speak, to get some are going to be traps. If you don't go the route of male chastity for the right reason, which is that it's chastity, then you must still understand that, practically speaking, these misandrist feminists are going to make inchastity expensive, very expensive, where you pay and they don't. I will sit back and have all the fun in the world they want to. Your job is going to be to pay the bill. And you will pay that bill as far as they are concerned. It's not only that, I also want you to keep in mind that when you start to get approached by women that know you're by yourself, they're going to set you up for robberies. You are going to be increasingly targets of either child support, courts, or robberies, or false accusations and extortions through those means. You're going to increasingly become targets. You are not wrong for being unnaturally alone for unnatural lengths of time, because that's just a smart way to go about it. These women will cry when they get older and they're alone, but it's going to take them until their old age to do it. You, on the other hand, will know that it is unnatural and may even cause you headaches. I mean, physical headaches from being unnaturally repressed. High blood pressure. It may do this, but you know what? You're going to have to remember that that isn't your fault. You simply were playing it safe. You were in an environment in which you were the target for every ill will, but never for love. And that's the bulk of you. That's the majority of you. It's not because there was something wrong with you. It's because you were normal, and they would do this to normal guys. And you have to keep this in mind, because their push is to put you in the hot seat and make you pay. They don't even want you out here approaching women because you'd be happy with them when you're finally half of a couple. They want you approaching them so that they have someone to take care of them financially. Lionel McTow was right, shouts out to him when he says the word pet, the phrase pet wallet. That's how they view you. That's why it is that Westernicians really don't mind cheating on you. They really don't think you are deserving of what they would want for themselves. And I'm not going to entertain arguments as to which one is worse or which one is better. Karen, Becky, and Amber, or Boom Shika Bon Quisha and Sophista Ratchet Sapphire. I'm not going to entertain the debates because they just have different ways to go about it. One is nicer to you in the beginning. Whether she means it or not, it's hard to tell. It's another debate. We don't need to get into that. It calls for undue speculation. She's going to get you in the end. She's going to try to get you in divorce court. And maybe she doesn't even want to marry you in the first place. She just wants to smash. That might seem to be convenient, but she's still going to get her pound of flesh. She just gets it later. The other one has all the attitude up front. And she'll get you whenever she can. She'll tell you that she's in a soft girl era so that she can get you in the beginning. That's what you're faced with. And I'm going to tell you that never accept that drizzle and that the soft guy era should remain a spoof and a satire, and that it should never be serious. It should not be a serious expectation, no. But should it be a serious demand? It better be. I'm telling you, you're dealing with these Westernicians. You better demand this. Like you need to make these standards for Westernisha and not necessarily for traditional women. What's the reason? Well, I know that's a double standard, right? But the traditional woman from a traditional jurisdiction of the world was always traditional. She didn't flip just because you came around the corner and you were 5'3", or because you came around the corner and she just didn't notice you out of a crowd, or you came around the corner and you were not being followed by a bunch of other women, or you came around the corner and you had a normal car and a normal salary and normal clothing on. That's not something that the traditional woman did in the first place. That's something that the Westernisha did. She did that. You came around that corner, and because of the elite guy that you weren't, she said that you had to do more, even though she would have said that about most guys because she didn't want most anyway. And she's not wrong for not wanting most. She still feels like you're substandard because of your normality, and she treats you accordingly and starts to make demands of you. And these demands are double standards. And we know that. Hey, look, you know what? If you were a foot taller, you would not have to do all of this. You would not have to try as hard. You know what? You're a black man. I'm a black woman. And because you're a black man and I have an inferiority complex as a sister, I'm going to make you do more, and I'm going to put you through these unending crap tests. And if you're a white guy, I wouldn't do this. But if you were a light-skinned black man, I would do it even more. Because that's what my friends tell me to do. Yeah. So you are within your rights to not only to be serious with these soft guy era standards, but to have them as double standards that traditional women don't have to meet when you finally get to a traditional jurisdiction of the planet. You have every right to sit up and say, this exotic, non-Western woman who will wash my clothes at home and will do it by hand if we don't have a washer, not that you would never buy one, but just that she's ready, does not have to bring all of these material standards and keep me in my soft guy era, because I actually get to benefit from her soft girl era, or rather I should say her soft woman era. I can benefit from that. And if she needs more money, she's prepared to work. And if not, well, she's prepared to not, if she won't work, then she's prepared to not need more money than what I make. She will live within my means. She's not sitting up and just always demanding more and more and more and more and more while giving less and less and less and down to nothing, whereas you will. So therefore, you strong, you independent. She didn't say she was strong and independent, but you did. So you be strong and independent. You want me? You better come over here with your material gains and use those to enhance mine before I get this passport and I get in touch with her. And she's waiting on me at the airport when I finally mother cuss word land. That's the difference. You said it is okay to have this, make them serious, and to tell her, yeah, you said you strong and independent. If I ask you what you bring to the table, you said you the table. Go ahead and be the table then. You said you don't need me. You got your own. Bring it. Help out. You said that if I say anything to you, I'm a creep. Go ahead and say something to me first then. Because you see, and in all honesty, know that when they do come and they make the first step and they start, when they do take the first step and initiate contact with you and they risk rejection, know even then that that might be a setup. Let them send you Cash App help if they're really serious. Let them come with plans to help you reach a goal, and even then, to demonstrate their willingness to do more than just talk. Because the truth be told, that white woman, one of the reasons why that white woman in the West is willing to invest in you is partially because she knows that you're going to need that investment to get to a successful role. She knows that. Even she looks to see if you're still moving without her. She still looks to see that. That's where the difference comes in. Even she does. She invests in you, yes, but she still scopes you out to see uh, the likelihood of you succeeding where countless others will not. That is very important to understand. Boom, Sheikah sits back and says, I ain't invest in nothing. I build nothing. I wait at the finish line to F the winner. That's it. But Becky does that with her own man, too. She doesn't invest in her own man because she says, well, he doesn't need it. So I'm going to sit at the finish line to smash him, too. But if it's a black man, I'll go ahead and do some investing because I'm only going to pick the ones in whom the investment is likely to really, really, really pay off. They don't even go for brothers that are trying to go into politics. It's funny because there are more politicians than there are celebrities making a whole lot of money. And the politicians will make a good salary, but they won't be rich. They're trying to go from ones that are going to become celebrities, pro athletes. So even when they have the investment, which is more than what a sister would do for a brother, at least, they got terms to go along with it. And they've been interviewed. White women have been interviewed and have said, without realizing this, they've been surveyed, I should say, and they have stated without realizing this, that black men must make 8 times in order to marry the same white woman. That black man must make 8 times what a white man must make in order to marry her. A Latin American man must make 5 times what a white man must make. So the white man still gets to marry even his Becky without having to be exceptional. That's the funny thing. It's just that we're not terribly insulted by that because we don't rely on marriage. We just don't, a lot of us don't even know that statistic. I think it's from 2014 or 2015. Either way, I'm insulted for you. But then again, I would tell you not to marry Becky. One of the reasons I tell you that is because of this. I'm just simply saying that she has her ways of trying to get that bag. It's nicer in the beginning. She might actually mean it. Boom Shika comes out front with it. I'm for sale, but you're never going to own me. I'm my own person, but you still have to purchase me. I'm like a real expensive car, not a high performing car, but I'm like a low performing car that's expensive as if it's high performance, and you must pay for me, but I'm still going to drive myself the way I want to. You're not driving me. And I don't go uphill, by the way. I don't do uphill, just downhill. I don't even drive on flat land for too long, just downhill. I coast inward. Oh, and don't turn the air conditioning on while accelerating at the same time, even if it's downhill. Shuck that fit. That's what she presents herself to be from the beginning. So it's easier to know when she's got all this attitude. Everybody can see it. But know that all of them are in on this push, even if it's illegal. They're in on this push to be able to conceive and to breed and have you merely pay and not be able to have any input in the upbringing of the child. That is the goal. I don't blame any of you for how you reacted to what I did place up there, because that's all I knew at the time I placed it. I wasn't sure how that could be legal, but it was the only story I had. I didn't know about the other version at that time. The veracity of a statement must by nature depend on which province or state she inhabits. But know that that is the push. That is the goal. Keep that in mind. The other thing too is, I'm talking to black men about this. You have not made your DNA widely available at these clinics and these banks, and I want you to keep it that way. Don't do it at all. Don't donate any of it. Don't let anybody be able to get any of our DNA to recombine with their own to raise on their terms and not on ours. They want to say, well, why don't y'all go to these clinics? Just say, because we want to know our children, actually. Even if Zaddy doesn't, and most of them do, we want to know our children at a higher percentage. And we don't have anything left to, jack off and squirt into a cup because we too busy flying over to Cambodia, Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines, or Thailand, so that we can nut in our wives and put our DNA there. That's why. I hope that what I've said helps. Thanks for listening. As always, black heart, black mind, black out, assalamu alaikum, and black heterosexual non-select male power just because they don't like it, and black patriarchy until extinction or judgment day.